Have you ever noticed how some people only recognize your worth after you're gone? It's like your absence speaks louder than all your explanations. But what if I told you there's a calm, strategic, and deeply powerful way to make that happen, without revenge, without drama? It's not about pride, it's about wisdom. And that wisdom comes from a philosophy that once shaped emperors, Stoicism. In this video, you'll discover 10 Stoic attitudes that can silently trigger deep regret in those who once underestimated you. Not because you'll rub it in their faces, but because you'll become someone who no longer needs validation to be strong. We're going to talk about how to control anger, stay calm under pressure, develop self-discipline, and use perception as your power, all while staying true to yourself. If you've ever given too much, been ignored, rejected, or taken for granted, this video is for you. You'll learn how to turn all that pain into inner strength, personal growth, and mind mastery. Each attitude is a key, and each key opens the door to a stronger version of yourself. A version that no longer begs to be seen, but can't be ignored. So hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, and drop a like. Because what you're about to discover here could change the way you handle everyone who once failed to see your worth. And by the end of this video, the only one left in silence might not be you. Stoicism doesn't teach you to fight chaos head-on. It teaches you to walk away from it calmly. When someone doesn't value you, the impulse is to shout, demand recognition, or stage a dramatic exit. But Stoic philosophy points to a nobler path. Leave quietly, as someone who already understood everything. Marcus Aurelius would say, true strength lies in controlling your reaction. When you leave silently, your absence echoes louder than any words. Most people expect a scene, a long text, or emotional outbursts, but what truly unsettles them is the lack of response. It's like expecting a punch and receiving only calm. That's when the other person's ego starts to wobble. It's not about running away, it's about mind control. In this case, silence becomes a form of mental strength and emotional maturity. Seneca once said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." When you understand that, you choose to walk away, not in rage, but in peace. No explanations, no drama, just dignity. That act alone teaches more about respect than 1,000 speeches. It's self-mastery in action, and your inner peace will thank you for every step away from the chaos. Want to apply this in real life? Next time someone disrespects or ignores you, take a breath, smile inwardly, and walk away. No shouting, no payback, no lengthy explanations. Take a break from social media. Focus on your routine, read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, or go for a silent walk in nature. Make your withdrawal a ritual of liberation. Emotional control becomes your armor. Many believe they need to be heard, to defend or justify themselves. But ancient wisdom teaches the opposite. If you constantly need to be understood, you're still chained to validation, and that keeps you stuck in a draining cycle. When you practice the discipline of non-reaction, the other starts wondering, why didn't they say anything? The answer lives in your power of perception, and that's exactly where regret starts to sprout in the heart of someone who underestimated you. Because your absence speaks volumes, your silence teaches, and your peace disturbs. But what should you do while they start to feel the void you left? How do you use that time for something that truly matters? That's what you'll understand in the next step of this journey. While some waste time trying to prove themselves to those who didn't see their worth, the Stoic chooses to grow in silence. Stoic philosophy teaches that evolution doesn't need applause, it needs consistency. When you focus on personal development, absence turns into inner presence. Others may not hear you, but they'll feel the difference when your new version shows up. And the best part? You won't need to announce a thing. Think about that friend who ignored you when you were down. They don't need to know you're reading Seneca, eating better, or learning about emotional intelligence. One day they'll simply notice that the person they dismissed has become unshakable. Read The Art of Living by Epictetus, hit the gym, meditate, study finances, all quietly. Inner growth creates an energy no one can ignore. This path demands discipline. It's tempting to post every win, respond with sarcasm, or make your comeback obvious. But real growth is quiet, invisible, and steady. It's waking up early to work out without waiting for motivation. It's turning off distractions to study while everyone else scrolls. It's building mental strength that doesn't need validation to exist. And here's the secret. When you grow and evolve without seeking approval, you become someone who no longer fits the old spaces. That's when those who once devalued you start realizing they lost something rare. You don't need to rub it in. Your transformation speaks for itself. Stoicism is about that. Winning without flaunting the trophy. Try this. Choose one area of your life to focus on for the next 30 days. Your body, mind, faith, or finances. Dedicate real time to it. Read relevant books, find mentors, cut distractions. Write down your goals, and don't show them to anyone, only to the mirror. That's the most powerful way to make someone regret losing you, becoming someone they'd never have the courage to dismiss today. And when that evolution becomes visible, without a single word, your silence becomes a mirror. And mirrors don't lie. But now a new challenge appears. What if even after evolving, someone still tries to provoke you, test your patience, or poke at your ego? The answer isn't in reaction, it's in elevation. And that's exactly what we'll explore next. The world is full of emotional traps, and those who haven't mastered their minds fall into everyone. Stoic philosophy teaches that reacting is handing over control to someone else. When someone provokes you and you explode, that's not strength. It's weakness disguised as power. True mental strength lies in choosing when and how to act. If you don't get shaken, you shake them. And silence once again becomes your greatest weapon. Imagine someone trying to provoke a Stoic like Marcus Aurelius. A jab, an insult, a public humiliation. He wouldn't respond with rage, but with presence. When you don't react, you change the rules of the game. They expected drama. You delivered peace. And nothing causes more silent regret than realizing they no longer have control over you. Think of that coworker who keeps making snide remarks, or that relative who throws subtle jabs. The best answer is to stay calm under pressure. Take a breath, pause, and respond with emotional intelligence. I hear you, I'll think about it. Or simply a polite smile. That's not weakness, it's mind mastery, and it leaves their ego stunned. Stoic philosophy is about self-improvement through choice, not conflict. Reacting less is training your resilience. It shows, without words, that your focus is above gossip, offense, and emotional games. It's not about ignoring everything. It's about knowing what's worth your energy. Your attention is an investment, and provocateurs want emotional profit. Don't pay them. Here's a practical exercise. The next time someone provokes you, count to 10. Breathe deeply. Notice your body. Observe the emotion rising. Instead of exploding, channel that energy into growth. Read a passage from Epictetus, take a walk, or journal your thoughts. Emotional intelligence is built this way. Reaction delayed, reflection applied. And when your silence and self-control start to reveal who you truly are inside, a new kind of strength emerges, one rooted in self-worth. And that brings us to one of the most powerful transformations you can make. Worth isn't something you beg for, it's something you embody. Stoicism teaches that you don't need to convince anyone to see your value. Those with open eyes will see. When you treat your own worth with reverence like a sacred temple, you naturally close the doors to those who bring mud on their feet. And that shift creates something powerful: respect. Those who once dismissed you now feel the weight of no longer having access. Seneca said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." And he was right. The mistake lies in giving too much to those who aren't thirsty for what you offer. If you keep giving love, time, and presence to someone who doesn't want it, the issue isn't them. It's your difficulty in putting yourself first. Ancient wisdom shows that silence in these cases is not punishment. It's healing. Let's get practical. If someone doesn't value you, don't argue. Invest your time in those who do. It could be a true friend, a mentor, a community aligned with your values. Start therapy, write in a gratitude journal, or read On the Shortness of Life by Seneca. Value isn't something you shout, it's something you radiate, and people feel it. Those who treat us as a backup often test how far they can push. Stoic philosophy teaches, clear boundaries prevent deep wounds. If you stay available to those who ignore you, you reinforce their behavior. But if you begin to prioritize yourself, the one who didn't respect you will feel the loss. And that triggers regret. quiet but real. Honoring yourself is an inner revolution. It means saying no when necessary, canceling draining commitments, and even blocking those who cross emotional lines. Self-improvement also means self-protection. It's recognizing that you are sacred space. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. That's not arrogance, it's wisdom. And when you act with that level of awareness, something shifts, not just in how others treat you, but in how you treat yourself. Your self-respect grows, your peace expands. You become someone who commands presence without saying a word. But that brings up another challenge. How do you deal with those who confuse your kindness with weakness? One of the biggest misjudgments someone can make is to interpret your patience as submission. Stoic philosophy teaches that true strength lies in being kind, without being passive. When someone starts abusing your kindness, it's a sign that your boundary is being tested. And this is where the Stoic doesn't yell. They stand firm with calm. Silence here isn't weakness, it's positioning. Many think being calm means being weak, or that avoiding confrontation means fear. But that says more about them than about you. Mind mastery allows you to set limits without raising your voice. A simple, "I don't accept this," spoken calmly, can be more powerful than 1,000 explanations. The discipline of staying calm in the face of disrespect is what sets you apart. Here's a real-world example. Imagine someone constantly interrupting you, mocking your ideas, or putting you down in public. Instead of snapping, look them in the eye and say, "That way of speaking doesn't reflect who I am." Say it once, clearly. If they continue, your absence becomes the answer. As Epictetus taught, don't waste time teaching philosophy to those who refuse to learn. Being firm doesn't cancel kindness, it protects it. You remain respectful, but no longer allow yourself to be stepped on. And the best part? When you do this, those who once thought they had power over you start to rethink. It not only earns respect, but can also trigger silent regret for having underestimated your inner strength. If you tend to avoid conflict at all costs, this is a skill worth practicing. Start with small boundaries. Say no to things that overwhelm you, end draining conversations, or write a clear message about what you will no longer accept. Emotional control includes knowing where your space begins, and defending that space is honoring your philosophy of life. Once you learn to be firm with those who test your limits, your energy shifts. Their ego feels the loss of control, and that's when they begin to reflect. But there's something even more liberating than earning respect, living in such an authentic way that you no longer seek anyone's approval. And that's exactly what comes next. The constant need for approval is a silent prison disguised as connection. Stoic philosophy teaches that as long as you live to please others, you'll lose yourself in the process. Marcus Aurelius didn't write to impress. He wrote to stay aligned with what truly mattered. A Stoic understands that others' opinions are noise, but the voice of conscience is music. When you're full inside, the need to be seen fades away. Pause for a second and ask yourself, how many decisions have you made just to avoid upsetting someone? That drains your mental strength and weakens your identity. When you seek external validation, you hollow yourself out. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole. It never feels like enough. True freedom comes when your actions are guided by principles, not applause. Seneca said that those who live by others' opinions will never be free. And freedom in this case is knowing you can be kind without being fake, authentic without being rude. You don't need to dress to impress, speak to be accepted, or laugh just to fit in. Be yourself, with clarity, calm, and consistency. That's the core of personal growth, a self that's solid and non-negotiable. Here's a challenge. Go 24 hours without posting anything, without asking, "What did you think?" or looking for approval. Use that time to rediscover what truly brings you joy. Read meditations in silence, write down your goals, or do something just for you, no audience needed. The stronger you are inside, the less noise you'll need outside. And that's what we call inner peace. Funny thing is, when you stop chasing, others start noticing. That person who once ignored you starts missing your authentic presence, because the value you once begged to be seen now stands out all on its own. And in that shift, regret starts to form, not in you, but in those who couldn't see your worth before. This leads us to another powerful Stoic truth. You don't need to be everywhere with everyone. Living without approval is good. But knowing where your energy is celebrated, that's next-level wisdom. And that's exactly what we'll explore now. You weren't made to be everywhere, with everyone all the time. Stoicism teaches that presence is energy, and energy must be spent wisely. Being in draining environments with people who merely tolerate you slowly dims your inner light. Seneca warned, time is your most precious asset, and showing up without purpose is a waste disguised as kindness. Those who live by Stoic philosophy learn to choose where and with whom they show up. You don't have to answer every call, reply to every message, or attend every event. Sometimes, the most powerful way to be present is to be absent. Strategic absence speaks louder than 1,000 hollow appearances, and those who once devalued you feel that absence like a quiet storm. Here's a practical step. Look at your schedule and identify which events drain your energy. Reevaluate. You can respectfully decline. Saying not today doesn't make you selfish, it makes you self-aware. That's emotional intelligence. That's discipline. It's not about isolating yourself, but about choosing where your energy will bloom, not wilt. When you start being selective with your presence, something powerful happens. Your absence starts teaching. Those who dismissed you begin to feel the weight of your silence, not because you left in anger, but because you've learned to prioritize yourself. That shift stings the ego, but it feeds your peace. Your energy leaves a mark, even when you're not there. In a world addicted to exposure, the Stoics knew the power of mystery. You don't have to be always available or visible. Cultivating selective presence is protecting the temple of your mind. Just like Marcus Aurelius often withdrew to reflect, then returned with clarity. That's resilience training. That's wisdom in action. And when you combine this selective presence with the silent progress you've been building, something shifts. People feel it, even if they can't explain it. But now comes the final and most powerful Stoic act of all, the one that doesn't need to be said, only shown. There's something deeply Stoic about winning without announcing it, transforming without bragging, and rising without seeking recognition. Stoicism teaches that real power lies in evidence, not in explanation. When you act with consistency, the results show up. And those results speak louder than any outburst. The ones who dismissed you don't need your words, they need to see what you've become. Seneca said, "Virtue stands alone, without applause." So instead of proving your worth, build it. Your results will create silence in those who once ignored you, because no one can argue with a life in motion. Regret often comes when someone realizes they didn't get to be a part of your growth, and that they no longer could, even if they tried. A practical example: if you were once dismissed, surprise them with your greatness. Set real goals, learn a new skill, change your habits, heal emotionally. Read the Enchiridion by Epictetus and apply one lesson each day. Learn to cook, go to therapy, organize your finances. Each small silent win builds a powerful narrative, one you'll never need to speak out loud. If you're silent now, it's not because you gave up, it's because you're too focused on winning. Winning over your anger, your fears, your need for approval. With every step taken without needing recognition, you free yourself from old chains. And this kind of presence doesn't need to be announced. It simply arrives, and it shakes the ground. It's not about rubbing success in anyone's face, but about becoming someone who wouldn't even fit into the stories of your past anymore. And the most beautiful part? You no longer need the validation you used to crave, because now you see the greatest reward is who you've become through the process. That's the peak of personal development. That's mind mastery. And now that you've walked through all these attitudes, you might begin to see your past through new eyes. But for anyone who still believes this is about ego or coldness, they're missing what truly drives each Stoic action: inner liberation. And if you felt that, then it's time to return to the beginning and realize why this video can change everything. Now that you've learned these 10 Stoic attitudes, the real question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you keep trying to prove your worth to someone who never truly saw you? Or will you start applying these lessons and let your results speak for themselves? The choice is yours. But freedom begins the moment you realize you don't need an audience to grow or approval to feel whole. You just need clarity, posture, and direction. Which of these attitudes hit you the hardest? Which one do you feel you need to work on first? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Your insight might inspire someone going through the same thing. And remember, maybe the one who once underestimated you is feeling silent regret. But what matters most is that you never regret abandoning yourself. If this message resonated with you, share this video with someone who needs to regain their strength. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and stay with us on this journey of growth, resilience, and mental strength every single day. Your evolution doesn't need to shout, it just needs to be felt. And today, you took another step.